this one over, Jesus, because this seems a bit beyond me. He went, yeah, exactly. It's all for me. And just, I think what I wanted to share and my gratitude for this journey, for this pathway, for everyone really that has brought me to this place of like, and it's just so simple actually, when you really, really focus your mind. And I'm just seeing, my sort of process of like, just focus on miracles and just focus on joy. That is it. That's the only thing you've got to do on this journey. It is that absolute simple. The miracles are going to transcend time and space, are going to transform this tiny little self that I cannot imagine how that will happen. And that's why I need miracles. And so that's the A Course in Miracles. It's just focus on that. And I've seen in doing this journey is like, yeah, that is actually really, it's been really tough to have that energy to sort of like go for the miracle when you seemingly don't feel like you're in the miracle and it seems like you're climbing up a mountain. But yet somehow what I've seen is the more and more, and I mean, you shared this with me, David, a long time ago. You said, yeah, when you get into the miracle, just keep the momentum going. That's what you've got to do. You've got to keep that momentum, and that momentum will build and build and build and will take you up and will take you out. It's kind of simple. It's like the 100-meter race, once you're in it, you're in it. And and you're only going one way. So just keep going that one way. And so our choice is miracles. And so that's what I've been seeing, that my inner strength is, well, I've got to hand this over. I need a miracle. I need miracles. I need miracles all the time. And the other thing is, and I think it's an unworthiness thing. It's an unworthiness thing that you cannot be joyful all the time. And I'm not saying that I'm there. I'm not going to deny that. But it's in my awareness now. And it was before, I think there was this unworthiness and this sort of like belief, the ego's strong belief. You can't be happy all the time. And I mean, everybody's heard that. Not many people on this planet believe that, do they? Let's face it, it's the minority that would say, oh, you can be joyful all the time. And everyone else is like, yeah, life's terrible. And it's like, so we're seemingly up against the tide. And definitely that's been probably your deepest teaching to me, David, is it's all about the joy. And I used to think, well, it's all right for you. My victim story coming out there where you are happy, but I'm not experiencing it. Yeah. And it's like, and you're always encouraging, saying, well, yeah, well, come and join me then. And it's like, well, actually, I think I may join you, like you say, you've got to put your toe in to feel the water. That's right, And if you want to enjoy the jacuzzi, you don't want to be sitting on the side looking in and saying, oh, that looks really nice. Get yourself in there and enjoy the whole thing. And I think that's what your whole teaching is. Teach by example, teach by motivation is, hey, listen, jump in the jacuzzi because I'm having a great time. And it's like, I'm thinking, actually, I want to jump in the jacuzzi because this seems great. And this has really been so simple, inputting joy up front. And so for me, I do a lot of things that I never used to like to do. I've got to be honest. And that was one of my prayers. And I prayed to the Holy Spirit and I said, listen, do you know what, this life, you have to do a lot of stuff that is really boring, tedious, and it all seems pretty pointless to me. And the thing is I know that I've got to do these things. There's certain things I've got to do. And I said to myself, well, the Course is teaching me no matter what I'm doing, I can be happy in it. So, okay, then it seems like a tall order. And this has been a prayer of mine for some time, for many years. Show me that. Show me that. I don't want to care what I do. I want to do it in joy because, of course, it's all about the mind. And that's truly what I'm finding. So Jesus gave me the maintenance area. And that was definitely the bottom of the bottom for me on my list of coming to live in miracles. Okay, now you're going to be doing the maintenance. Oh, my God. And so, of course, I felt like the world is against me and all of that lot. And it was funny actually, because when it was given to me, um, I'd had to go on the bus to get my computer fixed. And I'm on the bus in Mexico here, and I'm sitting on the bus, and I've got some cookies, and I'm sitting there eating them, and I'd only just got the maintenance area. I said, "Why, Jesus, did you give me this area? I feel like I'm being punished. This what you call the spiritual journey? God, I hate it." And he said, "Well, you asked for it." I was like, "What? What?" That was his answer. He said, "Well, you asked for it." And I was like, "What do you mean?" So I sat back, and he said, "Well, yeah, you know, our goal is no matter what you do here, we're going to do it in joy." And I was like, "Yeah, but I didn't think it was going to look like this." And he was like, "Well, yeah, I can show you joy in anything." And so let's admit, there's been a ton of resistance that's come up. I have kicked and screamed throughout the whole time. I've made it very, very difficult for myself. And yeah, it feels like this tide has turned. And that has been my deep prayer, as I've shared, that as I said, no, it's nothing in this world that can make me happy, can make me sad, can actually do anything. But yeah, I can stay in my right mind, and I can be joyful no matter what's going on around me. And that is my prayer. And so we've had some interesting jobs here at Quantico. We've been storing our sunbeds. We've been sanding them back because they got wet and they weren't actually waterproofed. And it's just one of those jobs where I just thought, oh God, I just don't want to do this. And lucky enough, Jesus said, "Well, you're not on your own. I'm going to bring you two mighty companions." And they're both the same as me. They did not like building work any longer. They're like, "Oh, I've had enough of it." And yet we've all been brought together to heal this and to do it together. We're like we're like Franciscans together. We are. And so I'm saying to them, I'm doing my own teaching. So we all sit there, we have a prayer, and we share our thoughts. And I say, don't forget, it's all about the joy. It's not about the doing. And so anyway, the other day, my realization is we're really getting in there, and I'm feeling the love, but in the background there is this thing. But I've got to get them varnished today. I've got to get it done, and the ego's now trying to get in there into my fun. And I spotted it straight away. And it was like, wow, I'm trying to get something from the world, and I'm wanting something to happen in this world. And I was able to stop it directly in that moment and be like, no, I don't want anything from this. I am here to listen and follow, and I am here to follow every single step. And the only reason why I'm doing this is to share my love and to share my joy with these wonderful, beautiful chairs and my beautiful mighty companions. So that came through to me, and I said, "Listen, lads, we're not here to get this done. We're just going to keep pouring our hearts into it, and that's it. And what happens is what happens. It's not about getting it done." And they were like, "Yeah, I was feeling a bit like, we're getting it done. Yeah. I can't be having that on the team. That has got to be wiped out." And then it was like we were just pouring our hearts into it, and we were putting the wood glue in, and we were like, "Yeah, and what about this? And we'll nail this back together, and we'll do this, and we'll do that." And it was just completely and utterly effortless, with no attachment to anything. And it was just so peaceful. And this was like, we've been going at it for hours and hours. And through just putting the joy and the love and the miracle up front, I didn't feel tired at all. And the main thing about it all it was like, I'm not tied to this world. I'm not tied to these outcomes. It does not matter. The only thing that matters is what's in my heart. And my group, there's Rudy there, and I expect Micah's here somewhere. And I just felt our closeness, and it was just like, this is everything. And the group who I live with, they were like, "What were you lot doing down there? You look like you were having so much fun." And I said, "Yes, because we're letting go of wanting anything from this world. That's why we're happy. And it's like, it's so simple, and it's like, it seems so simple, and it can be, and these things can be dismissed. But I just thought it was so important to share. And it was like, yeah, there's that response, other ego games of responsibility, of needing to get things done. And it's like, no, I have nothing to get done in this world. What needs to get done is what Jesus wants to get done. And Jesus was saying, listen, I don't care whether they're varnished today or not. The only thing I'm interested in is happiness and joy. Now stay with me, and I'm gonna give that to you. And that's exactly what he does, because it's not of this world. And so I feel like he's been priming me for this other job that I had. We are restoring the temple and the paintwork over there. And this has been a 2-year thing. And I've had massive amounts of healing on it. You can probably go on the internet and follow. I've shared it on the Divine Intervention Show and all sorts. All my anger, all my disappointments. And David, you helped me with this, pointing out to me, oh, you feel responsible. And I'm like, responsible? God, I'm overwhelmed. And that has been a massive healing in my mind. And the anxiety with it is such a big job, and I'm just like, how can I do this? And of course the ego wants to come in, and the ego has come in. You need to get it fast, you need to get it done fast, you need to get it done quietly, you need to get it done simply, you need to get it right. And I'm like, well, actually, I don't know whether I can do any of those things. Yeah, well, you're going to let everyone down. David, you're not being supportive of David if you don't get it done quick enough, and Francis and everyone at the temple. So you best get your act together, sunshine. And it's like, the ego's just like, rah, trying to blitz me. And I'm like, well, it can't be about all of this. Surely not. No one's putting any pressure on me other than myself. So I'm sitting there with Jesus, and I'm like, no, I am not going down this responsibility route again. And so we started it this week, and last week was the painting of the chairs, and it was like, I've already given you the lesson. And I was like, oh my God, it's not about doing the temple. It's only taken me 2 years to get it. I am a slow learner, I've got to admit it. It's not about the temple. It's about the joy in your heart. Oh my God. And so I was sharing with my friends here. So they've all been a bit, okay, I wonder how he's going to respond to doing the painting. So they said, you're doing the painting tomorrow. It's a big day for you tomorrow. And I said, I feel great. I am so looking forward to it. I'm going to be joining with my mighty companions, and I don't feel responsible. And in actual fact, I'm really excited about doing it because I'm doing it with joy and love in my heart. And it's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And so, yeah, it's like, it's amazing. Like this task has caused me so much anxiety, so much responsibility, as I shared. And it's so simple, it's nothing to do with the world. And there I was on Tuesday, I was on the grinder and we were doing it. And again, I had a plan. We sort of had a rough plan, and we didn't get to where we wanted. We weren't far off, and I could see that little trick coming in again. We've got to get it done. And it was like, no, I'm not doing that. Every stroke is for my joy, and that's exactly what happened. And so I feel like this is very important for me to take this on and to share this with everybody. Because this is truly how you leave the world, that keep remembering that it has nothing to do with the world whatsoever. And it's not about getting anything done. And in actual fact, David, you shared the other day with a small group of us, which made me laugh when you were talking about the old days where everything was recorded on cassette. And you've just done a 3-hour cassette ready to go up on the internet, and all of a sudden you press the wrong button and you delete the whole thing, and you've got to start again. And you're like, It's a message from Jesus. It's nothing to do with the world. Okay, then just start again, Jesus. And so this little message was coming into me over and over again of the week of Jesus just like stroking me and just telling me the same lesson, you know. And I was just like, oh, it's just a classic, you know. If ever you think you're trying to get somewhere in the world, oh, it's absolutely awful. So yeah, I just feel so grateful when you say yes to these things. You know, your mighty companions come along, Rudy and Micah come along, and we are just like so joined in the prayer. It's just so deep. Like our time together is just so deep, and it's just it's just so joyful, and it's just like, how could I have planned this? How could I have planned this any better than to let the world go in this way? So yeah, I'm sure you have many more stories to share with us, David, on this subject.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that this pathway is one of listen and follow, and really that's it. You know, it's not, we don't have to spend hours in meditation or contemplation. Those have served others very well, and they'll get you there, but this is not the pathway of holy relationship and listen and follow. So I think everyone could agree that this is a world of perceived lack. And when you have perceived lack, then you have needs. And then when you have to meet those needs, it's like you were saying, Kenneth, it can get, sometimes we judge it as boring. Like these damn needs and these damn actions that I have to do to meet these damn needs. You know, that's a good synonym for the world. Damn lack, damn needs, damn boring things to meet those damn needs. Well, you know, once you start to realize your path is listen and follow, and Jesus is saying this need not be. I mean, you're misperceiving the whole world, you're misperceiving yourself. You weren't created in lack, you weren't created with needs, you were created in joy, and God's will for you is perfect happiness. So maybe this listen follow path is for you to find the happiness that you are and have always been. So I remember the course came to me around 1986, I think around August of September 1986. And then I went through periods of immersing and 2.5 years of using it as an oracle every day for 8 hours on the average. And then I went on this walkabout, ride about with Jesus around the United States. And I had some mystical experiences in my little hermitage when I first got the course and this and that. But after listening and following, you know, and when you just are, if you just go anywhere, the Spirit tells you, and you so give yourself over to it that after a while, you start to have so many miracles, not just a trickle, but I mean, it's a pretty consistent stream of miracles every day from morning to night. Then at some point during that stream, you just get a big smile on your face and you say, this is like a fairy tale. This is like some kind of something out of a fairy tale book. If somebody had told me that miracles would get that intense and that strong, and I would feel like the world was a fairy tale, at the beginning I would say, yeah, how's that going to happen? With debts and reciprocity and always struggling through every day. How do you get from that to fairy tale? Well, for me, it was listen, follow. And then, boom, those mystical experiences come in, you wham, like you were just having during that meditation, Ken, with Pete, you know, and you looked and there's 1 minute, you know, it's like, now there's like 1 minute to go before the show and the time collapsed. It was all gone. So I was telling the group today at La Casa that after a course came in 1986, and then about 9 years later, I remember I met this woman, and after 9 years with the course, Jesus was like, he knew my heart, and he knew everything about my heart. He knew me like the back of his hand. So it was like, I guess he knew I was ready for extreme joy after 9 years of listen and follow. So he has me go and I meet this woman, and it turns into my first Course in Miracles girlfriend. So, you know, you got to love Jesus. You know, he's like, yeah, you've had some good 9 years there of listen and follow. Now And I'm like, wow, that was just spectacular. And I remember it was summertime, summertime in Michigan. It was warm and beautiful. And I just got happier and happier and happier. Then Jesus sends in, of course, the Course in Miracles girlfriend. I'm like going, whoa, this is going through the roof with happiness. This is getting happier and happier. And I got the guidance to buy a motorhome. I see Rudy and Jesse there with their little motorhome. I got the guidance to go out and buy a motorhome. So I went and I spent $5,000 on a motorhome, and I go to pick it up, and the guy who had the motorhome restored old cars and restored motorhomes, and I'm buying a motorhome for $5,000, and it's pristine. It looks like it's a brand new motorhome. He's just restored it. Everything is perfect on it. Everything works perfect. And my girlfriend, she was like, wow, that's an amazing little motorhome. And I said, isn't it? And so we drove off, and I'm like, well, I don't know where we're going to go or where we're going to park it. And then a friend of mine said, I've got a farm. Why don't you come and just park it next to my barn and just plug it in so you'll have all the power you need in there. And he said, oh, I said, well, yeah. I said, but getting the shower working. He said, don't use the shower in it. He said, come to my house. I got a big house over across the road. Come, take showers every day, use the kitchen. The door is always open. I got a swimming dock on the back. And suddenly my happy experience with my girlfriend had a motorhome, park it for free, use the electricity, come use the house, take food out of the refrigerator, eat here, go swimming. And I was just like, holy Jesus. And what happened was, then I went swimming, and we were on the dock one day, and I remember playing my little MP3 player. I put on Elton John, Lion King. Can you feel the love tonight? I went off into a mystical experience. When he hit, can you feel the love? I was gone. My body was laying on the dock next to my girlfriend, but I was just like, and all it was I just gave myself permission to slip into happiness. Like the happiness has always been there. And I just gave myself permission to slip into it. How it seemed to look in form was, I've got this motorhome and this beautiful girlfriend, and now there's no rent. I plugged the thing in. It was like this idyllic kind of life of no cares, no worries, like Hakuna Matata. Suddenly it went into Hakuna Matata. No cares, no worries for the rest of your life. That's what I was feeling like. Wow, this is spectacular. And this is always available? Yeah, this is it. This is what the point is. So it was so expansive and so spectacular that every day it just unfolded, and it seemed to get wider and more expansive. I mean, like we would go into a small town of Brooklyn, Michigan, we would have holy encounters like morning and into the afternoon, and maybe have a breakfast or a brunch, more holy encounters, maybe go meet people. We adopted a little kitten, which we called Sweetie. We would go around, and then at night, we had a little TV set and a VCR player, and I rented movies that turned into the Movie Watcher's Guide to Enlightenment. We would sit there and laugh and watch all these deep mystical movies and keep having these deep mystical experiences every day. But the key thing was, it's like you were saying, Kenneth, is when we have a conditioned idea, a seed of a conditioned idea in our mind of responsibility, any sense of personal responsibility for anything, for our body, for another set of bodies, for people that we're helping out or working for, if we have any sense of responsibility aimed at the world, we will feel guilt. Because as Jesus says, your only responsibility, your sole responsibility is to accept the atonement. And for me, that was an experiential sense of, oh my God, you just want me to be happy. That's all you want for me. You don't want anything else for me except perfect happiness. That's God's will. But to surrender from the sense of linear time-space responsibilities, that is the essential thing. So like when you were saying, Kenneth, you just said, I'm here for joy. I'm here to extend joy. It's not about what it seems to be about it. It doesn't matter what the form is. That was after 9 years of listening and following Jesus. And then he starts slipping more things in, like you're carefree. You can let the world go completely. You can let go of the future. You can let go of ideas of career, of how you're going to make it, of all those things that you've been conditioned to. And I was raised in the Protestant work ethic, and I had 10 years of university. So I had plenty of conditioning into personal responsibility. But Jesus got a hold of me, and he's like, that's not it. We're not going there. You have to give your full devotion to me, to be of service to the Father, and to be used in whatever way I give you. So that's what happened after about 9 years with the Course. All of a sudden, I just clicked into this glorious sense of, I cannot do anything of myself. I need not make anything happen. I need not have earthly goals for anything in time and space. And admittedly, that goes against all the conditioning big time. That is like a 360 reversal of the conditioning. But I think that's what you're feeling more and more, and is that you're just saying yes to that too. And you find yourself delightfully happy for no earthly reason. There's not anything happening or not happening that is associated with it. It's just an inner glee and joy, and it's the most spectacular feeling. And there's no going back either. Once you start to taste it, it's like the ego's like, oh hell, we lost another one here. we've lost it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, yeah, my upbringing was the same as you. You want it, you go out there and get it, and it's like that's basically that's basically the world. And then this is, we get to the point on this journey, and it's, I can't do it. I can't do it without miracles. I need your help. And that's the only time that he can come in, as you were sharing, that you surrendered to the joy finally, after 9 years. You're like, actually, I'm going to surrender to this joy. And then the next level of joy comes in, and you just can't even believe that it's there. That's the real, that's the true gift of being truly taken care of. And this idea that I've got to take care of myself, or I've got to do things, I'm responsible for things, just becomes so heavy in your heart. And I think that's what happens. A lot of people talk to me and say, yeah, well, it's not all easy on the spiritual journey. And I'm like, well, yeah, tell me about it. I'm not trying to say that it is. And it's like that your heart gets so heavy with these things, with this responsibility. As I was sharing, this 2 years of the the painting of the temple was really for me to get that I'm not responsible. And it's like been absolutely awful in my mind, but now I can't wait to get over there and do it, because I know that it's for my for my joy, and it's like that it is this choice. And I'd like to share something about what happened to me yesterday. Actually, I woke up yesterday, and every morning when I wake up, I normally wake up great. I'm normally pretty good. But what I'd noticed in myself, there was this sort of hardening that had been coming up inside of me, and I was feeling like grumpy. There was something like a bit of an annoyance coming up inside. And so I was praying around that. And then it was like I was going to get the car fueled up in the morning. And then it was like so funny, the state of my mind. There was a guy, I quickly looked at my phone as I was waiting in the queue. And then the guy in front went around And so the pump was free, and the guy behind was like beep 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 beep, like that towards me. I'm like, all right, and I was just thinking, okay, this is just the sign of my mind here, this impatience, this frustration coming up, and I was thinking, yeah, this hasn't happened to me in a long time. I haven't felt like this in the morning. But it was beautiful because there was this sort of like sadness, and equally there was this sort of like softening coming in. And so my prayer was, okay, yeah, I've started on the wrong foot, but yet this need not be. And in one of the workbook lessons, Jesus says about doing the workbook lesson, and he just says, try, and try again. And it's like, it doesn't matter whether it takes me all day to get out of this. I am going to get out of it. How long it takes, even if I've got to get even more grumpy, even more wound up, it doesn't matter. I am going to get through it. That's the goal now. The joy is still the goal. So anyway, I'm sort of like, and then this guy, he pulls out in front of me, and he's holding up the traffic, and I could see like, why did you do that, mate? That wasn't helpful. And I could see all these things, and it's like just perfect for my state of mind. It's like, no, this need not be. So I get back to the house, and then the first thing that I've got is I've got a call with my friend Jessie. She's helping me with getting clear in all the maintenance area, and we're doing a spreadsheet, and that's another miracle, because I was like, oh my God, Jesus, I can't write down all this information. Seriously, this is out of my realm. It's just so uninspiring. I'm happy to keep it all in my mind, actually. That's perfectly fine. But the thing is not everybody knows about it, and they've got to keep coming to me about it. So then Jesus sends in Jessie, and she loves doing it. She loves typing away and writing what I'm writing down. And we have this beautiful joining. And it's like, Francis said, the community is all for me. And I'm sorry to say, Francis, no, the community is all for me. It's like, Jesus, you need this. Yeah, you can have that. You need that. Yeah, it's that. You need this. And I'm like, can you believe this? Everything is being completely taken care of. So I have this beautiful join in with Jessie, and that really like picks me up. So then I make radio shows for David out of his talks for Dream 7 Radio, and I really, really enjoy that. So I'm just pottering away doing that, listening to the beautiful teachings. I was doing the ACIM movie talk, which I really, really loved. So I'm listening to that and doing that. And then, next minute, okay, it's time for the social media meeting. So we all get on Zoom there, and Jessie's a part of that now, and Stephanie and the old gang. And so we're like, welcome. Okay, everybody. So really all we do is we share where we're at, and we share inspiration, and that's the end of it. And so there was a few expressions which felt beautiful, and then there was the sharing the joy and the gratitude. So now I'm just being lifted up by all of this, and I'm like, okay, thank you, Jesus. I'm starting to feel a lot better now, and I'm starting to let go of whatever that was in my mind. So then I go back to my radio show, and I'm just doing the final touches, which I love, because I've now found this app whereby I can press it and it will record David's voice perfectly, and then I can get my description out of it. I'm like, technology is brilliant. So I set my phone down there, I put my chair back, and now for the next hour I'm listening to David, right, while I'm doing my work, because I'm doing my description for me, and I'm like this, and all of a sudden at the end of it, because it's a radio show, it's got a little jingle at the end. Next minute the jingle clicks in. I'm in complete bliss in my chair. I'm like, oh my God, I can hardly move. I'm just gonna have to stay here for another 20 minutes. So I'm just bathing in the experience of what's happened from this I'm like, oh my God, that was so deep. What's just happened to me? Right, I'm gonna have to have a quick lie down on the bed. So I'm lying on the bed like this, and then all of a sudden I feel the Holy Spirit's like moving me, and I just sort of like sit up like this, and I'm just lying there. And I'm just thanking Jesus. Thank you. Thank you so much. With that, my phone goes ring. Who the hell's that? So I pick up. I don't know who it is. I'm like, okay, Mexican number. Think, hello. hello, it's the Jehovah's Witness. I went, oh, perfect timing. Hello. She went, I'm not disturbing you, am I? No, 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 perfect. Have you got a few minutes? Oh, God, yeah, I've got a few minutes. Yeah, hold on a minute. Let me just put you on speaker. Ding. Puts the phone on my chest, so I'm lying on the bed. She said, now, I'd like to ask you a few questions if you didn't mind. I said, yeah, fire away. So she says to me, what do you think about Jesus? I said, he's my best friend. She went, very good. so, so we just start talking. She starts talking and sharing. So she gets right into it. And I know her husband as well. And I can hear him in the background. I goes, is that Gary in the background? He goes, yes, hello, Kenneth, I'm here. I goes, many blessings to you. So then how are you? Yes, I said, thank you for phoning me up and sharing God's love with me. What more can we do? She said, yes, exactly. She said, terrible things are going on in the world, aren't there? And I said, yeah. I said, but the good thing is we're having this call and we're setting it all straight, aren't we? I said, because we're sharing the love of God. And that's the most important thing that we can do. And she said, yeah, you're right. And so she goes, can I read you another Bible quote? I said, I'd love to hear another Bible quote. So so she gets really into it with me. She went, right, I've got another one for you. You're really, really going to enjoy this one. So it finally ended on, and we will end in everlasting life. I went, oh, that's my favourite subject. Right, so she says, wow. Anyway, I've got to go because I've got a few more calls. I said, yeah, lovely. And she said, and next time we'll speak about and we'll continue on about the everlasting life. I went, perfect. Like this. So I put the phone down and I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me. From the start of my day, I get phone calls to talk about God with people I've never met in my life. And it's like I've known them all of my life. Julie and Gary phone me up and we just share all of this love and it's just absolutely beautiful. And I'm just like, oh my God, these days are just set up by the one that knows. And he's just, and it's not of me, is it? It's not me trying to like, okay, if I do this, I will be joyful. If I do this, how could I have planned that? And it's just lifted me completely up. And I'm just like, oh, thank you. And then I get up, I do my description, and then I have a few more join-ins with my friends Barbara about music and Anna and all sorts of different things. And I'm like, well, there you go. Transform the whole day by the master. And so, you can start your day on the wrong foot. I mean, that is a choice, but that is the proof in the pudding that the day's not lost, and it was back in the game. So yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful. I think if you just admit that your life in time and space is a little bit of giving and a little bit of getting, and that's not like heaven.
God.
I mean, heaven just extends love and light in an eternal song of gratitude. So there's only extending. There is no getting. So this give a little, get a little formula is going nowhere. You'll never know who you are with give a little, get a little. In fact, if you keep playing give a little, get a little, it's going to be more like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. And the steps forward are the giving, and the steps back are the getting. What's in it for me? What am I going to get out of it? Yeah, that's back. You step back from the light of heaven when you're wanting to get anything. I remember when I was first reading the manual for teachers, I was like, oh, cool. 10 characteristics of a teacher of God. And Jesus wants me to be a teacher of God. That's good. I need to know what these 10 characteristics are. If I'm just to be a miracle worker, a teacher of God, I better see what he's got in mind. And it's not like a lot of responsibilities. There's no personal responsibilities in those characteristics, not at all. But they're all relatable. He says the first one is trust, and all the rest, the other 9 depend on trust. And he said if trust goes, so do the rest. So it's like a bowling alley, where you got your lead pin is trust, and you've got to hit that lead pin. Because if you don't hit that, you can forget about patience and honesty and generosity and open-mindedness and all the other ones. They're not going to be there. You lose the trust, you lose it all. In awareness, it's out of your awareness. I do remember I got to number 7 and I'm like, generosity. What Jesus had to say about generosity? He says, well, it's the exact opposite of what you think just generosity is. How the world defines generosity, it's the exact opposite of that. I said, okay, I could buy that. Since the world is made by the ego, I can buy that it's the exact opposite. So I said, well, to Jesus, like, he said, well, so what do you think generosity is? I said, well, philanthropy, like some of these Ted Turner and Andrew Carnegie and all these Bill Gates and Elon Musk, the Warren Buffett, the ones that will say have billions and billions of dollars and they donate a lot, billions, like Bezos, the woman who was married to the richest man in the world, she divorced him, but she gave literally billions, I think, of dollars away to charity as soon as she divorced him. Then she just married a science teacher after she gave billions away. I'd say to Jesus, now that's my idea of generosity. If you donate billions of dollars to charity during the pandemic, that has got to be generous. And he said, now, okay, now what I'm talking about is the exact opposite of that. Wow, okay, now you got my attention. Okay, tell me, what do you mean by generosity? He says, the teacher of God does not want anything that he cannot give away. What would he want it for? He could only lose because of it. So what Jesus is saying is, as soon as you realize that the only thing that you want in your mind is that which you can fully give away, to have, give all to all. Once you realize that that's all you want in your mind is giving, give all to all, then you're generous. And then you will know what I mean by a teacher of God. But if you think there's anything that you can keep just for yourself, just under your name, then you won't know what generosity is. You will not have the awareness of generosity. So to have, give all to all is the first lesson of the Holy Spirit's 3 lessons. And I remember at the beginning, I was like, wow, you're going to have to show me that, because that is so far from what I know to be true, or what I believe, that I'm going to have to be somehow guided or led into this experience. And Jesus said, yeah, that's my job. I lead and you follow. And of course, that's how it works. You don't understand it yet, but you will. So now what it looks like is basically, that's why I talked about for so many years, no ownership, no private ownership, no possession. I talked about this over and over for years and years. I talked about it at the monastery. I talked about it this morning at La Casa. I can't shut up about non-possession, non-ownership, non-control. How else will you know divine providence unless you let go of this character or this belief that you are somehow personally responsible, or that you can personally own anything? Jesus told me, he said, as soon as the idea of ownership comes into your mind, then divine providence is gone. You can't have the concept of ownership and the concept of divine providence. You have to let the Holy Spirit use all the symbols. I said, what do you mean, use all the symbols? He said, like Pocahontas, paint with all the colors of the wind. Come on, you need to paint with all the colors of the wind. You need to behold the divine orchestration and realize that nothing's happening personally in the dance. This is a big dance. You better enjoy the dance, but don't try to control it or believe you own it or believe you can possess it. Because if you think you did something, even physically, if you thought, well, I did a good job there, then you don't understand that the Holy Spirit and Jesus are just using the images, and it's all orchestrated. I mean, people have said to me, well, you've been doing this for years, and you're quite successful as a Course in Miracles teacher. What does that mean? I'm happy. If you define success as happy, I go for that. That's it. I'm happy, but I don't think you can define it in worldly terms, because I'm just beholding the dance, like the Lord of the dance, 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 da, 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 da. I am the Lord of the dance. The Jesus is the Lord of the dance, and all we can do is behold the dance. We cannot make the dance happen. We cannot claim responsibility for a good job or a bad job. Or even when we try to claim we're indifferent, Jesus is like, indifferent? This is glorious. How could you be indifferent to such a masterful plan right in front of your eyes? And I'm like, okay, that's it. I can't be positive, negative, or indifferent. I just have to be humble and realize that the Holy Spirit orchestrates time and space for the miracle worker, and then I can feel generous. But as soon as I try to claim personal responsibility, either good or bad, then that it's gone from awareness. And we can't be happy if we're actually claiming personal responsibility. So to me, this is the key, like what you're talking about, Kenneth, when you really just come back to remember that everything I'm experiencing is just for my joy. And it's for the joy of the whole universe. And if you stay with that, then that is where the miracle is. You're riding the crest of the wave of the miracle, and then everything else you can behold from that place of love and true generosity. But there's no reciprocity with it. You're not saying if I don't do this, then this will happen, or if this doesn't happen, then I'll feel bad. It doesn't have that getting motive. Because I think that's the one thing that holds back the awareness of love, is just the belief that you can get something for yourself alone. And that is just not the way God thinks or God loves.
Yeah. Yeah, you can, I noticed that for myself. You can feel it when it's something for your seeming self, and it's like, and it's not a blessing for everyone. It's like it feels flat, and that's actually that's a beautiful thing to be aware of that, as you said. While we're in the undoing process, we are going to feel like we're owning things, and different bits and pieces are going to come up, and it's just more and more of this letting go. Yes, I don't want that. The joy is much more important than these clinging to things, this feeling of lack, of course, and that's what's underneath the whole thing. If I give all of this away, then I'm going to be left with nothing. And of course, that's the other reversal that Jesus loves to laugh at. The more and more that you give, the more and more you're fulfilled, and it's like that makes no sense to the world. Where's my thoughts going? Yeah, so I was just thinking, it's been the same as these episodes. When I very first began, it was like, this is a gift. This is a gift to me. And this is an opportunity to give. And so my first prayer was, I don't want anything to come of this for this personal sense of self. That is definitely not what it's for. That was definitely my goal. And then today, coming to this, and it's like I sit down and I think, okay, then what's it all about today? And it was just like, I'm going to give everything today, as if this is the last talk. I'm just going to share everything. I'm not going to censor what's going on. I'm going to give everything to this moment. And what happens is what happens. I'm not concerned about what comes back. I'm not concerned about what I'm going to get from it. I'm just going to turn up, as you said. I just got to turn up and have him do it through me. And it's like, I'm going to give everything because I know that's where my joy. And if there's one little bit of, oh well, I've got to hold myself back. I mean, this is like a good one that could cross my mind. Wow, I better not give everything now because I'll be tired for doing the gardening later. So I better keep my energy down a little bit and save myself for later on. You know, this is what the ego does, doesn't it? And it's like, no, I'm going full throttle, mate. we're going full throttle now, and then we're going full throttle later. And that's the everlasting. I actually remember that with I got asked to do the online retreat, and that was on the Friday, and so on the Thursday I was talking, and I said to Pete, "Oh no, Pete," I said, "I'm going to be talking on Thursday, but I'm also going to be talking on Friday," and I said to him, "So I better not share everything on Thursday because I might not have anything to share on Friday." Right. And he said to me, "Thank God I have my mighty companions." And he said, "No," he said, "share everything that you've got on Thursday." He said, "because there's bound to be more that's going to come on Friday. You know, you'll be surprised." Because of course it was the first time that I was coming out more speaking and everything. And I was like, "You're right. I'm not going to put a limit on it." And so that was one of my things. I'm going to give everything on Thursday. I'm going to give everything on Friday. And that's always Jesus' teaching. I love it. So thank you so much for bringing that to our awareness, David.
You're just flinging your seeds. Even this morning, I went and gave maybe a little bit over 2 hours. We shared a beautiful session, and then afterwards, Lynn says, "Would you like to see the garden? Would you like to see the garden?" I said, "Yes, I would." So she took me all along the fence, and she told me all the things that are planted. It's like, I said, "This is like," she explained that, "this is like the beginnings of like an ecosystem over here."
You're not
So, "Oh
kidding.
yeah, we're going to draw in birds and flowers and bees, and we're doing all this." And she explained it all. And then she said, "Come, there's more and more. Come to the back." And she said, "Look over here, we got these going, and here and here and here." It took me like 10 minutes to go through, and it was always punctuated by Ken says, "Plant it all up, plant it everywhere." Her arms are going like this. I'm hearing about the master gardener. Plant it all up. Don't leave no empty spot of soil, you know. And you could just feel it, you know, that there was seeds everywhere. She come into the greenhouse. Here's where our little babies. These are our little babies. And out here, this is our herb garden. We've got this and this and this and this. So that's just a reflection of your mind, Ken, that you're like plant it all up, you know, like leave no space open. And it's beautiful because that's a lot of seeds sprouting over there. There's a lot of seeds, carrots. I mean, they're just every day is harvesting more and more and more, and it's abundant. But to me, that's just symbolic of you have to give it all away. You know, we can't bargain with God. If God is all giving, how can you bargain with a presence that's all giving? What are you going to do? Say, "Slow down, God. Stop with that giving, that loving attitude." You know, we have to come into how we were created, which is give, paint with all the colors of the wind, you know, that kind of spirit, in order to be happy. But if we just think we can give a little bit, come give a little bit, you know, if we think we can give a little bit, then that's like a trickle. You know, what's your spiritual pathway? I'm a trickle for God. A trickle. What about being a stream? Why not being a river? How about being an ocean for God? If God is give, why don't we bring ourselves up to, we were created to give like God gives. We were created to be giving and loving. So to me, that's just a beautiful symbol. Your garden, it's your presence is very well felt there. Concentrate my life.
Yeah, it has been a complete and utter miracle. I mean, considering I've known nothing about gardening, and it was funny because it was through the pandemic actually, and I started doing the gardening over at the temple, And I was thinking about it, and Francis had the same prayer, and I was thinking we could grow our own vegetables and things. And I'm thinking, God, I thought I better keep my mouth shut because otherwise it's going to be coming down to me. So, but I was having all these thoughts, right, about these things, and it's because I was watering the garden and doing a bit more in that sense. And then Frances came over, and she was like, "Yeah, it's really good in the garden. I really enjoy a bit of the gardening." She goes, "We need a vegetable garden," and I goes, "I was thinking exactly the same thing." She said, "But I don't know how it's going to work," and I went, "Yeah, that was my predicament." So she said, "Well, listen, well, let's just pray together." And let's just see what happens. And I said, yeah, I completely and utterly join you in that prayer. So we had that prayer, and then you found out about it, and it's like, yeah, we have this meeting, and it's like, okay, go. And I just felt in that moment, and that's when you just know, I just felt like Jesus say, this is for you, and I'm going to do it through you. And it was like this whole point, and I'm grateful that we're bringing this up again, because I started that prayer because I've started so many projects on the wrong foot, and I was like, this is about miracles, because I have no clue how to garden, so I can't do anything else. This is about miracles. This is about joy. Oh my God, it's still the same prayer a year later. It's almost a year since we've been doing the garden. So then we plant our seeds for the first time. We get something like 98% seeds. And we look on the internet. For first timers, they normally get between 30 and 70% if they're lucky, but it's between the 30 and the 50%. We got 98%. Christ, that's a miracle. Yeah, I don't know how all this is happening. We have all these gardeners come along and they go to me, "Are you sure you don't know anything about gardening?" I go, "I have no clue what I'm doing here." But it's just like just being completely and utterly led, and just wanting to give, because it's just so joyful over there. I just love it. I don't even know what it's about, because I never had this joy for gardening before, but somehow it's just like, as you said, it's just giving. And as Lynn was saying, no, there will be no dirt left open. We will plant the seeds everywhere. And then it was the same as this year. So this, we're basically just starting up. We're actually starting our very, very first full season, because we started a bit late last year, and we planted all these seeds, and a couple of trays didn't come through. Hey, these trays didn't come through. Oh well, just keep watering them. Just keep watering and just keep going. And it's like 3 weeks later, still nothing. No, just keep looking after them. We don't chuck anything out. We just keep giving our love to them. Every single one has come out. We've now done another 98%, and it's like, how is this happening? But of course, it's just the sign of the mind, the sign of the giving. I'm just like, how is this happening with all of us that have no clue? But that's the beautiful thing, and it's like I just had these little visions of things, like building this little meadow, and then I'm thinking, yeah, we're going to have a meadow over there. And I felt it so strong. Jesus, yeah, there's a meadow over there. I tell Alejandro. Alejandro looks at me as if to say, God, that's going to be a lot of work. He said, oh, okay then. And in the next minute, I don't know how it happened. It happened completely and utterly effortlessly. And I go over there, and each month in co-living, we have the new people that come. And it's just like everyone brings a new element to it. And I go over there and I look at this garden. We've got 4 compost bins. We've got a greenhouse. We've got all of these beds around the place getting covered with seeds. We've like taken it to a whole new level. And I'm just like, this definitely was nothing to do with me. It's just absolutely beautiful. So as you said, when you truly give from your heart, it's like, okay, I'm going to give everything to this. And it doesn't even matter who joins me. That's what I share with Lynn. Don't worry about the team. Just do it for your joy. That's what I'm doing. And then everybody wants to join with the joy.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I think we can't really know the form of how it will look, but we can know the prayer of our heart is to give. And wow, when we really have that prayer of our heart, then we start to feel the transformation happening, the quickening, the celestial speed up, we can really feel it happening. And yeah, we just decided, I think yesterday or the day before, to do like a big global gathering, like on the 3rd Wednesday of every month. So another Zoom gathering, but this time we just are going to invite the whole world. and as big a Zoom room as we need, we'll have. And we're going to have, it'll be in English with Spanish translations and Portuguese, simultaneous Spanish translations and Portuguese. And it seems like there's lots of people that are just really getting into the momentum of this giving. When we say give up the world, that's all we mean is give up getting. Give up looking for anything from the world, because as Kenneth was sharing on the part that he put out, I've been saying that for years. If you want something from the world will want something from you. So if you want to have a place where you have no grievances, period, with anything or anyone, just give from your heart and don't expect anything from the world. Because as soon as you expect something from a person, a place, the government, some agency, even with charities, some people are saying, well, I'm hoping the charities are going to come through for me. If you have the expectation and you're looking for something to come from the world, you don't see it's just a reflection of your mind. You don't see that you are already saying you're lacking, and now you're saying, I need something in the world to change, to be different, for me to be happy. And that's exactly what the ego does. It wants you to look to the world of images. It wants you to become dependent on that. But all you're really giving up is the getting mechanism, and that was never there in the first place. God didn't give us a desire to get anything. That is a total ego invention. And why would we use our powerful mind and plug it into this getting mechanism when all we feel is that we still have grievances, or we still take things that are personally insulting? And so to me, that's been the transformation. I just wake up in the morning and I'm in give mode. And I don't know the form of it. I don't even have to know. I follow the invitations. I follow, Kenneth, we don't even plan this. He sends me a message even the night before, or sometimes the same day. Oh, doing a show today. Happy to have you there. If you want to come, you're invited. And that's it. This is not, we don't think of this as a regular thing. It's a momentary thing, momentary joy. And when you're in momentary joy, then you've got it all. That's everything in the universe. So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to all of you. And I always look forward to these interactions too. We get to interact with you face to face on Zoom every week. What a blessing.
Yeah, thank you, David. And that's what I love about these episodes, as you said, we don't plan them, and then this has all just come out now, and I'm just feeling so blessed myself, just like, wow, that was awesome. Thank you so much. So yeah, thank you everyone. So would you like to open it up now, David?
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. I'd love to hear from everyone.
Yeah, Andy, maybe you can invite everybody to put their hands up and we can answer any questions.
Yeah, that's perfect. I put instructions in the chat below, and we already have 2 hands, so we can start with Lucy. You can unmute.
Hi.
Hi, Lucy.
Oh.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
I just wanted to share, you brought up all the things I wanted to hear as well. So I've got much to say apart from the joy. It's like, I know it's not my joy, because I'm like this miserable person that's always like grievances and everything. So like I can experience it as if it's not me, it's not mine. And so and everything that comes with it is like I want to share it. So Jesus keeps giving me these just really just funny mental images, mostly they come as. For example, David, you was talking about the Lord of the Dance, and I was sitting in the garden the other day, and I just got this mental image of Jesus doing the conga, and like we're all joining on behind him, like going through the world. So just stuff like that. So I just wanted to share that. I'm just really feeling it at the moment. And every question I do get, I'm like, right, I'm gonna ask this question. And then 2 seconds later, I jump on Facebook and somebody's talking about it. It happened a lot yesterday, or the answer will come up. So no questions at this point, just so much love. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lucy. And I see all of your love being shared across Facebook, you know, with all of your beautiful pictures and everything going out. And I just love reading them. So thank you so much for everything you're sharing. It's so, so beautiful. Yeah, it's wonderful to join with you. I'm so grateful we got to talk as well. Yeah. Love you.
Thank you, Lucy. And next up, we have Annabelle with her hand up. You can unmute. It should be, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
unmuted now.
There we go. We
Hello.
hear you.
Hi,
Hi, Annabelle.
Oh, I'm so great to be here with you this evening. I wasn't going to join, and then I'd gone on Facebook and I said, okay, so I'm really tired, and I was thinking I need to get a good night's sleep. But then this voice was going, join. So here I am. And I was listening to Lucy sharing about how much joy she's feeling, and I think, and listening to what you've been sharing as well. And I think for me, I just have a question about I suppose the getting, because as a mum with, and Lucy looks like she's a mum as well, but she's more on the joy side. I think with me as a mum with 2 little boys and soon to have a dog in the family as well, and it feels like there's a lot of, the giving doesn't always feel so easy. I mean, I am always giving, and there feels to be a lot of love there, but it feels like oh, it just feels like I can see there's so much getting tied in with it as well. I think I love what you were saying, Kenneth, about how it's almost like when things are going well. I think it was you were saying it. When things are going well, it's like, you know, that it's Jesus that's doing it, not you. And I can see that when things are sort of just flowing and seem quite magical at home, I can step back more now and say, I think it's because Spirit's here and we're all in the flow together. But I suppose I'm wondering, so is it that, and David, you were saying like Jesus orchestrates everything. And I was thinking, does he even orchestrate, like if I'm asking for guidance and I'm seeming to follow what I think I hear, is he also orchestrating if I'm not following guidance? Is he, even though if I'm asking Spirit to step in and help and offering things to Spirit for Spirit to help with, I'm just wondering, is Jesus still always orchestrating everything? And maybe when things are not seeming to flow so magically, or there feels not to be the love there, and there seems to be obstacles, is that just because I'm out of whack, I'm out of line with the giving, and the ego has come in somehow? I suppose I'd love to be just with family life, with our children and with their dad and everything to do with family life, because that's what I'm in right now, but in a way that is not so personal, and just with free giving, and more with Spirit, more with Jesus. I think I'm just wondering what you might have to say about that. I mean, I love your strokes of joy. Is it strokes of joy, Kenneth? You were saying, you said something about, I'm just doing the strokes for my joy. And I thought, maybe if I could do everything in family life just purely for the joy, no matter how sometimes crappy it might feel in a moment, but just keep bringing myself back to doing, you call it the strokes, but you could say everything in daily life is a stroke somehow. But just for the joy, I thought then maybe that would help me to be always with Jesus and spirit, or to feel that connection rather than doing it from a personal place, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Thank you, Annabelle. Yeah, it's interesting how it's all about being aware of the divine flow and the orchestration, and it's never that anything is not orchestrated. It's all orchestrated for the greatest blessing. And the Bible says all things work together for good for those who love the Lord. Basically saying when you're aligned with the Lord, all things work together for good. Then in the Course in Miracles, Jesus he knows that that was in the Bible. So then he says, all things work together for good. There are no exceptions except in the ego's judgment. So he's telling us it's all in divine, the dance is there. You can either see it or not. But if you see it, you're in alignment with the Holy Spirit. And if you don't see it, then you're in alignment with the ego. Now, a lot of times people say family life or with children, it's like, wow, that's a whole different scenario than all these other possible potential scenarios. But I remember growing up, and when I'd say, well, what are you going to do for my birthday? My mom says, we're going to have a big birthday party. We're going to get all your friends over. We're going to have cake and ice cream. Then we're going to take all you out to see Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And I'm like, wow. Oh, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, we love you. And then Mary Poppins. Now there's one. Mary Poppins, she comes into the children's lives and it's magic. Just a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. They're singing like every 5 or 10 minutes, and they're happy. And Mary Poppins brings such joy to the children. I say that's because she's like a symbol of divine flow. She cares. She is not just your regular nanny doing a job. She's there to bring joy and to bring love. And the kids feel it, and everyone feels it. So those are, even with those movies, those are great examples of how you can come to a greater appreciation. Another one, much more modern than those, that's in our Movie Watcher's Guide to Enlightenment. I think I cry every time I watch Family Man with Nicolas Cage, because he's like a powerful businessman who deals with millions and millions of dollars as a businessman. And he goes out one night and he's in a store and there's this man who comes, and he doesn't know it, but it's an angel. And so Nicolas Cage boldly is walking along the street with this man, and he says, the man says to him, what do you need? And he says, I don't need anything. I have everything. And the angel just goes, oh, this is going to be so much fun. Don Cheadle plays the angel. And then it's a total dismantling of all his pride, where he's taken out of his scenario as being a powerful businessman, and he's put being a dad with 2 kids and I think a dog. And oh my gosh, it's such a great movie for coming to humbleness, coming away from all of his preferences, his pride, everything he thinks he knew who he was gets totally dismantled. So those are the things to remember. You can experience that in your situation, and you can experience that through the symbol of even some of these spectacular movies that are showing you the way to really be fully present and really let it come through you. Like you can channel the spirit in the context of with your partner and your children. And you can start to feel the joy expand just by that. Because that's where the giving is. You start, and that'll take you out of the getting mode. of certain times where it slips in, it'll wash it away. So thank you, Annabelle.
Yeah, you just reminded me actually of a friend. A friend was sharing with me, and she was saying, "Well, it's easy for you because you live in a community, and you got all people around you." And I said, "Yeah, but so have you." And she said, "Yeah, no, but I've got all my kids. I've got all these responsibilities. It's really hard, right?" And then her sort of like mind clicked into place, and then she said, a couple of days later, she said, "This is my community. My house is exactly, and these are all my mighty companions. Yes, exactly. They're not your children." They're your prayer partners. They're your miracle workers. You are all one. You've been brought together. The same. There's no difference. That's what you've got in front of you. And I bet your kids have got so many miracles to share with you. It's unbelievable. Children are the best. They've got really open minds, and they'll just be like, "Okay, we want to do this," and you'll be like, "Okay, then." But it will be a miracle. So if you see them, like David shared the other week, he said, "Oh, I don't see people, I just see prayer partners." And I thought, well, that's it. Because if you sit down and you listen to what everybody else has got to say, the Holy Spirit's going to be there, and the Holy Spirit's going to be guiding you all. It's not like down to mum to be responsible as the Holy Spirit character to look after everybody. That's the awful thing. You're like, "I'm responsible for this family. Oh my God, that's enough to want to kill yourself." It's like, no, you're responsible for miracles. That's the only thing you're responsible for. Yeah, and join in with your children and your husband and the dog and whoever, the goldfish, whoever you want to bring into it, is that everybody wants to join into the miracle. That's what everybody wants, whether you're using the language or not. Who cares? But everybody wants to do that. And that's what Albert Einstein come to it through science, didn't he? There's two ways to look at life. It's either not miraculous, or it is a miracle. I know which way I'm choosing. So, he got there in the same way. And so that's how I would be setting up my day with your children and everyone. And it will become extremely joyful. They've come to wake you up. They're waiting for you. They're like, "Hello." Oh, I love you, Annabelle. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Annabelle. I did something earlier this week, and somewhere the question came into me somewhere in the past week when I was doing an online gathering. They basically saying, "David, how do you deal with mom guilt?" That was they put the two words together. It wasn't just guilt. It was, how do you deal with mom guilt? And basically, I answered her, but what helped me was that little tiny book from Khalil Gibran called The Prophet, very famous little book from a Lebanese writer. And I remember, you open it up, it's such a tiny book, but it speaks to us of work and speak to us of houses and speak to us of children. So when the statement is speak to us of children, it starts off with, your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life longing for itself. They come through you, but they are not of you. I was just, when I first read The Prophet, I was like, wow, that's a transcendent view of seeing children in a proper light. Because we need that. We have to undo the conditioning of the false responsibility and the getting motive. So just the beginning, the whole thing is great, but just that section on Speak to Us of Children from Khalil Gibran and the book The Prophet, that's one you could maybe read on every week just to stay light with it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Annabelle. And next up is Sabine. Sabine, you can.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi,
Sabine.
Sabine.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here with you. It's like it's all for me. And yeah, Kenneth wrote me that this is today, and I signed in. And it's unbelievable. Since I left Mexico, I'm really going through, I don't know, it's like sometimes like a tsunami, and everything is, and everything you spoke about, like this trust thing, this giving thing, it's like, and now with the prophet, it's like, I can't believe, because 2 days ago I put this from Khalil Gibran, about love into Facebook, because this is exactly what I am at the moment. This, at the end, you are like, I'm shaking and everything, like, yeah, it's putting away from me only to be love, be true. And it's like, since this weeks I'm gone, I'm like, stay. I have only Jesus anymore, and no one else, no one, nothing in the outside. It's like, listen only to me, listen to your heart, and nothing else. Because as soon as I begin to listen to something outside, to read something outside, it breaks completely down, and I'm out of my trust, and I'm in the ego. It's it's like really every day something. But when I'm really in this love, I have also many miracles, really many miracles. But it's so like, I think, oh no, I've got it. I have the miracles, and whoosh, the next thing is coming in. It's like the ego was saying, no, you don't go to the land. No, I don't want this. Every time. It's like, okay, stay, I don't want anymore. It's hell.
You're in the elevator scene. It's like every day is the elevator scene.
I told you about the elevator scene. I watched it with you, and I paid it. Yeah, I had it yesterday, but it's coming again and again and again. It's not this only day. And it's really all about, are you really ready to give everything? Are you really ready? Let's see. Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. And you know, I'm actually in this relationship, but with someone I have really not met until now. You know, I told about this. So I'm actually always, it feels like I'm really confronted only with my own mind the whole time. Because, you know, I don't see this person. And so I got this beautiful, wonderful mirrors of love. And sometimes I think it can't be. And as soon as I forget to trust, it's gone. It's completely gone. It's gone. It is, yeah. It is quite a journey. It's a ride. I don't know what it is, but I really, I want to see, and I want to see only love. There is nothing else, and this is I really want. And if I really want this, I see it, and I got all these gifts and presents, and yeah, it's like there is only this, and I have to go through it. I know I have to go through it, and it's all about giving, and this giving is so beautiful. I feel always so good when I'm really in this giving mode. It's for me, it's for myself. I feel this love. And as soon as I begin not to trust and hold back, I feel bad. I feel so bad. And yeah, I don't know where I'm going through now. It's like, yeah, shake Sabine. Shake everything out of her. What is not good? Oh my God. I didn't know, I didn't know. I only said I have to go back to Germany. I wasn't sure. There was something, and and it had to do with this man, yeah. But I didn't know what happened. And I don't know. But I think Jesus knows what is happening.
Yeah.
And not me anymore. Absolutely not. Whew. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Sabine, because it's like I always say that's how Jesus works. That's his method of operation. That the more trusting you are, the least you know, the faster you get into the miracle. It's because the I know mind from the past is the part that blocks it. But you've been a beautiful symbol to really everyone here in the community, of even before you came, you were in Germany, then you came to Spain, then you felt it so strong, come to Mexico, and then you felt strong to go to Germany, and then this man, so that you told me on the phone, I said, what are you doing? I'm going to Germany, and then I'm going to Manchester, England, and I'm in love. And you were that's the best scenario where Jesus, you totally trust and you totally have no clue what's going to happen. That's when the biggest opening for the miracle to come in, truly to open to giving and extending. So yeah, we all enjoy when you sign on to these, because we get to hear the latest update on Sabine, on the adventures of Sabine. Where in the world is Sabine, and what is happening with this love story with this doctor in Yemen? We know it's beautiful because you're trusting, and of course the ego is stirred up when you start to trust that much. The ego is really stirred up. It's quite afraid that you're going to go fully toward the love and let it go. And so it's of course it's quite stirred up with it. But I feel it's beautiful. Every step of trust you take, it's pretty intense. I mean, it sounds like very intense every day, but that's just a phase, as you keep staying firm with your heart, it will stabilize. Everything's going to stabilize. Then you'll just be you won't be able to stop sharing about the parable of all the miracles that happened.
And I just feel your sharing is like the happy learner, It's like, even though you're going through this, you're still laughing. And as Jesus says in a course, I need happy learners, and the lessons move through much, much quicker. And so that's what I feel you're doing. So I feel like that's a lesson for us all, and just reconfirming that in my mind, because I understand that. I understand the ups and the downs and when it comes. But for me, it's like I've got to be gentle. I've just got to feel whatever's coming up. I know that this will pass through. I want to be the happy learner, and let him do it. And that's what I see in your laughter as you're sharing, and it does become more and more funny. It's like when you see them patterns. I see some of these patterns over and over again, and it's just like, oh, there you are. you know, and then I just look at you, I just look at it, you know, and then there might be some sadness. It's like, oh, good, I'm feeling sadness now. This is interesting, and then just letting it go, and then going into the next phase, and that's it, just letting it go through. So I think you're actually a beautiful demonstration of us that I can hear as David was sharing that it's been quite intense, but yet we're still here laughing, and that's the most important thing. So thank you so much for that, Sabine. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabine. And next up, we have Margaret. You can unmute.
Hey, Margaret.
Hello.
Lovely to see you.
Thank you. I wrote Kenneth also. I wrote a question in, and what it's about is that so my husband asked me if I wanted to go on a trip with him for a couple of days, and even though I had a lot of resistance, I went anyway, and because it felt very guided. And it's been so incredibly deep and healing, and we're really sharing all private thoughts and holding the space. And the thing is that, like, we felt that we needed to repeat this trip, but we were really practicing and just really only making decisions from guidance, from if it was guided or not. And we prayed on it for like 3 days. And then today, we said, okay, you know, make it obvious. This guy shows up in front of us, and he asks, oh, how are we doing and all that. And he says, and we said, well, we're actually trying to see if it would be something for us to come back here. And he just totally gives us a convincing job about, yeah, absolutely, you know. And then we look at each other and we're like, okay, that's pretty obvious, you know, after 3 days of praying and not wanting to make the decisions from fear. And then what happens to me, because this is sort of just like a repetitive something, like it's really obvious, I follow the guidance, and then I get this, like, actually what Sabine was expressing, like such a deep mind attack, like absolutely it's just pain and just like it's just like everything stops. It's like all these, the doubt thoughts are just not like, I don't think you should have done that. It's like, you're just, you know, it just starts screaming in my mind, like, that wasn't guidance and you're doing it all wrong. It's like, and today I asked, like, what is this about? And there's a deep, deep sense of unworthiness and doing it wrong that is still running the show down there. And so I guess my question is, like, these mind attacks that are just, because I'm following guidance so much now, even though when I feel like hell no, I do it anyway, because I'm starting to really feel the difference. It's just that, like, even right now, as I'm sharing this, I get like this really hot flash of absolute kicking and screaming, and knowing that, knowing it's the ego. So I'm trying not to respond. Yet at the same time, I'm telling myself I'm responsible to accept the atonement. But this kicking and screaming is so loud and so hideous and such a deep sense of wrongness that's coming up that it's not the right thing to ask, but I don't know how else to ask you, David. Like, what do I do? I know I sit, I wait it out. I don't know. It's like Jesus make it obvious. He makes it so obvious. I follow the guidance and then all hell breaks loose. And I feel like I'm asking you the same question, this question over and over again, but I guess I need to hear it again from you, how you would respond. Because it's so uncomfortable and sometimes it's so painful, like my body just hurts so much. Knowing it's in the mind, but still it feels like my body. Thank you.
Yeah, but I think the choice of purpose is what frees our mind, and that's what's underneath it. So sometimes I would always look at a guidance, and I would just kind of say, is this taking me towards what is passing or everlasting? And that would be the criteria I would kind of run it by, because all guidance is more of a loosening from this construct of time and freeing our mind of the slavery and the tyranny of feeling guilty. And so this is about an inner freedom. But oftentimes too is when you pray and pray and pray and you get a guidance, then the ego, once you hear the guidance and once you act on it, that is where the ego goes from suspicious to vicious. You know, it's almost like with Marguerite, that is, you are crossing a line. It's one thing to hear it, but to actually follow it, the ego really goes spastic because it's threatened for its existence. And yet, sequentially, as we seem to keep listening and following, we do get into what Ken called like a momentum. At the beginning of the program, he was saying, just get into the momentum of the miracle, the momentum of the joy. And those ego attacks will fade. I mean, it's like you're making the turn, and the ego is really upset because you're making the turn. And then once you make the turn and you even become more devoted and consistent in following the guidance, then that's when the ego just starts to fade away. Kind of like in The Wizard of Oz, you know, there's this wicked witch of the West with this green face and this long and really vicious. And then once the water is thrown on the witch, then all that's left is the cap and gown. I mean, there's no witch there anymore. But this is the time for faith, where the ego just tries to dismiss, disregard, and basically put you down for following the guidance, because it's highly threatened. But you do come through it. You do come through with the momentum where you just have to be steadfast in that following, praying and following. You know, that is our pathway. And when it's very, very intense, you know, you have to just not be calm enough to just not to be tempted into some type of self-judgment or self-criticism. That's ultimately what the ego wants you to do, is conclude something negative about yourself. The whole thing is like a big show. It puts on a big show so that you'll conclude something negative about yourself. So when I was feeling all the intensity like you're describing, I would just have to, it took all my faith just to say, I will not try to pass judgment here, or not try to make a conclusion based on these thoughts. I'm not going to try to make a conclusion based on these different thoughts that the ego is trying to get me with. So it is definitely a time for faith, and that's actually what the show, Ken's Get Real show, is about. I mean, every single episode is about facing something that is trying to convince you of your unworthiness, or trying to bring you down, or trying to convince you to hold you back in some way. And then that's what Get Real is about. It's about hanging in there with the faith and with the prayer, and then coming through, breaking through into that moment of lightness that comes. But it can be that's the time period while you're still going through the darkness. That's the hardest part of the journey. Hardest part of the journey.
Yeah, I'm just thank you so much for bringing this up. You know, I experience that. It's like I have this sort of softening happening in me, and I just take a little turn towards the softening, and then wham, in it comes. I don't think so, mister. And it plays all of its tricks. And what David's been sharing, which I think has been extremely helpful for me, it's when I buy the bait. Oh, I'm terrible. I'm obviously doing the wrong thing. I didn't watch my mind. Whatever you want to do now, you're analysing the reasons why you're so terrible in it all. And the ego's sitting there saying, yeah, this is absolutely great. You're trapped again. You're doomed. And how am I going to get the courage up again to face this again? What I've noticed is that exactly what David was sharing is that the belt comes. I've undone the ego door, and in it comes. And then I just sit there, and as David was sharing, not making the conclusions, I'm just sitting there, and I'm just allowing all the feelings to come, as you said, in the body. I'm just noticing all the thoughts, but I'm just literally observing it, and I'm not putting anything else upon it, and I'm just letting it do its thing. It's almost like a child in the room, you know, and the child's come along and said, banana. And it's like a 6-year-old, and you're just not going to start arguing with a 6-year-old over what's happening. You're just letting them say what they've got to say, and I'm just observing it. And through doing that, it actually goes away much quicker. It just dissipates, because I'm not giving it I'm not buying into it as if it is my character. I'm seeing it for what it is. I'm giving it the time that, okay, you're here now. Okay, you've come in. I'm watching you, but I'm not gonna add anything to it. I'm not gonna even say that I'm going wrong. I'm saying to myself, actually, thank you, because I know that this is another thing that's on its way out. That's how I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it as, oh great, I'm glad you're here again, because now it's another chunk of this silly, pathetic story that I've been telling myself. And thank you very much for coming. And now you've gone again. And if you need to come again, come again. I'm not gonna be frightened. I think that's part of it as well. It's almost like this fear, like, oh no, not you again. And it wants you to be fearful of it. And I sit there, no, I'm not frightened of you in the middle of the night or whenever you want to come. Okay, yeah, bring it on. Say what you've got to say. Get it out of your system. Okay, yeah, very good. I'm going to bed now. Thank you very much. Thank you. Goodbye. You know, that's it. So yeah, I'm glad you're confirming that in my mind. To remember that don't get caught up in the story of it all. It's all one big joke. And just air it. It's like doing your washing, you know. That's all it is. You wash it, you put it on the line, you don't think about it all the time. Oh my God, is it going to blow off the line? Oh, it's driving me mad. You get it out the wash, you put it on the line, and then you come back, you put it in your drawer, you forget about it. That's just the same as the ego. It comes out, you put it away, it comes out, you put it until finally it's done. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. And next up, we have Sevi. Sevi, you can.
Hello.
Hello, Sevi.
Hi, Sevi.
Hi, sweeties. Oh, thank you. I was feeling so frustrated those days about all these things. Think of getting I wanted to, I heard a lot of things that I think that I needed to hear from everyone. Just I wanted to share about an assignment, an intense assignment that I have with someone. David, I have shared some few things with David that I have a very intense assignment with a man that, yeah, it seems so difficult sometimes because it's so deep experience for me, because it seems like this relationship is like it's like he's not giving me what I want. And
Bottom
for
line.
me, yeah, it's like, no, you're not getting what you want. It's like all the time this pattern again and again and again and again. And it seems like it's for years now. And it's so frustrated in me because I am in that mode of giving, and I'm trying so hard sometimes to control that giving mode and stop giving, and I can't. It's like I'm trying to control to not give, because I have to wait to get something from that man. It's like it feels so painful to me, because something inside of me knows that it's not going in that way. So I am feeling so much like to give to him so much, and sometimes it feels so painful because there are all those kinds of beliefs that are coming, like when we are in a relationships, like you don't have to give so much, you have to wait to get something. So, and for him sometimes I have the reaction like, you're not valuing enough yourself, because you are not like, you are all the time in that giving mode, and like kind of this mysterious woman that they have to wait to get something from someone, and I can't do that. It's like I'm not who I am. So every time that I'm like committed to myself, like, no, I'm not going to give. I'm not going to give. I will just wait to get. It's so painful inside all of my body. And all the times I'm hearing guidance and prompts, and I'm saying, no, 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 no. I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to give again. It's done. It's done for me. I'm not going to do that. And it's so loud. And like, you have to give, actually. It's like an unconditional lesson for me. Like, yeah, it seems like a painful pattern, but you have to surrender yourself in that state of not want to get anything, and just be in that state of just giving, and just feel free and happy without like waiting to happen this or that, without any kind of those things. But it feels so much painful many times, because it's so deep. And you have all these voices around you, and maybe when you are sharing sometimes with friends, family, siblings, things, and they are, what are you doing? Why are you so giving all the time? You just have to stop and wait, and just and it's like, but I am this. I can't stop. I can't stop it. It's my nature. And just as Margaret before said, like something like, I don't know, just I can't, yeah, I can't remember exactly. Just I can't stop the flow. And I'm feeling so much, yeah, like I'm doing something wrong. I'm hearing the guidance, or I'm not hearing the guidance. It's like all this time constantly conflict with my intuition, spirit voice, and if it's my ego or if it's the spirit. But yeah, when I'm feeling that, yeah, you are doing this all from your ego and you want to get and things like that, and I'm sitting down, and like I'm not giving for days or months or whatever, it seems like I'm in hell. And just it's so deep experience that I have never had like this. It seems like in all my relationships I was like this, like giving, and like men's like stepping back, and it was very much for them, and I was like, oh, it's something wrong with me. It's really something wrong with me. No one is going to accept me because I'm so fully sometimes. So sometimes I have prayed to God to take my life because I can't do that anymore. Really, I can't do that. I have said, like, I can't do that anymore. Just it feels for me like it's not acceptable many times. So yeah, like I feel that everything is happening for me to just fully accept my nature, that I'm spirit. I am doing that from that space. But oh my God, it's like you're just disappearing, or I don't know where I can find myself, or I don't know where I can identify in the relationships because of that. And yeah, it is like a constant battle. And yeah, like I can't stop it. I don't know. I can't stop it. And but I'm waking up every day and I'm continue. And some days I don't want to like get out of my bed, but it's like something inside of me is like rising up, and is starting to extending again and again and again and again, and I'm trying to stop. I don't know. Yeah, I think that was all that I wanted to share, that this like battle in myself, like I'm doing right or I'm doing wrong. Who is that wants to give? And of course there are some times that I can see myself that I want to get, of course, and but it's something like, okay, it's for moments, like, okay, I have not getting, and just I'm starting again and again and again the same thing. The sadness is coming, I'm giving over, is starting again, and it's like all the time. So sometimes I'm feeling happier and happier, and some days are very frustrated. I'm very frustrated. So I don't know what to do with myself.
Well, you really articulated it. It reminds me of that movie Jesus Christ Superstar, where Mary Magdalene is going through such a rapid transformation being around Jesus, and then she sings the famous song, "I don't know how to love him, what to do, how to move him." It's a song of frustration. He's a man. He's just a man. I've known so many men before in oh so many ways. He's just one more. And then the whole song is a frustration of letting go. Because the giving in you is very strong, and then it's undoing the getting. But when the getting rears its head, it's like a Loch Ness monster. It's down under the surface, and you're giving and growing strong in the giving, and then when it comes up, it's so shocking. I mean, you wonder about your sanity. Did I do something wrong? Did I do something right? You start doubting yourself when that comes up. I really enjoyed watching that Mary Magdalene movie because, it took so much for her to leave her family, her father, her sister and family, brother, and to follow Jesus. And then it got even more intense as the movie progressed, because when Jesus got arrested, she got knocked unconscious. And then the next thing she knows, she wakes up and Jesus is bleeding. He's carrying a cross on his back, and it's horrifying. This is the one that she's followed and trusted in, and then she gets knocked out during his arrest, and she wakes up and she can hardly believe what her eyes are seeing. It's just shocking. So I think that's where it is in the relationship, that it's a purification. You're being purified. Your heart is being purified, and to come to this pure state of giving. And that undoes all sense of reciprocity. And from what we've talked about, sometimes this man can say things to you like putting you down, insulting, and things like that. That's like facing the ego. When you have a relationship like that, where it starts to come put down witnesses, like really putting you down in a harsh way, that's like Jesus calling you to rise up even further to the place of letting go of taking anything personally. And of course, Jesus, he seemed to have a public ministry for 3 years, and it just got more intense the more he went out in public and started sharing this presence. It's like it got ramped up. And, we don't have to go through the same situation and form that he went through, but just, I feel that you're dealing with it in this relationship. Like Jesus is really using this relationship for purification. This is like a very, very deep purification. So you might need some symbols, like we were saying earlier, how, Khalil Gibran book or this or that, but you may need some strong symbols around you during this purification, because you do need reminders to not fall into the doubt, the darkness of the ego's doubt. I'm glad you're able to share that with us, though.
As you were talking, Sevi, I was just reminded of Mother Teresa, of her giving. She was giving for the sake of giving. She just loved to give, and just the next one and the next one and the next one, looking into someone's eyes, bathing their head. She just couldn't stop it. And that was it. And that's what she wanted to do. And she knew that that's what God was calling her to do. And so that's what I would say, is just remember that that's what God's calling us all to do, is in this deep giving. And the world's going to be, why are you doing that? This, that, and the other. No, it's not. It's never about people. It's not about that. Jesus never went around either and said, I'm going to give to all these, but not those ones over there. You can't follow me, you can, and all of that business. Thomas, I'm calling you out of the world. Oh my God, not that traitor. No, he's my friend. No, Lord, anyone but that traitor. No, no, no. Thomas is dealt in. Thomas, he's awful. and Jesus welcomed in everybody, and I think that was the deepest teaching, that he never saw any difference in anybody. They called them prostitutes and all of this business, and he bathed the feet. He did everything because he saw no difference. He couldn't help it. And that energy that you have, you can't help it. As you said, like, it's just the Lord. The Lord is just, he just gives and gives, and the world can't understand it, and the world will never understand it. You know, and now I'm coming to, oh God, Saint Clare of Avila. I don't need to be understood. I want to understand. I don't need to be loved. I want to love. And that's it. I don't need to be understood. I don't need to be. I'm just going to give. Oh, thank you, Sevi. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Wow, okay, we've come to time. Wow, oh wow, what a session. That was deep. Let's go to, how can I get to gallery view now? There it is. Oh, wow. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, David. Wow. We just healed the world. Okay, we're all done now. That's what it feels like in my heart. It's like, oh my God.
Letting go of the world session.
Yeah, it was. That's complete. Oh, just thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. It's always wonderful to see you. I'm just going to flick to the other screens. Oh, lovely to see you. Thank you so much. Oh, how wonderful. Well, these just kept getting deeper and deeper. And thank you, Pete. Thank you. You just can't plan it without a doubt. Thank you so much, Pete, for your wonderful music, for starting us up. Thank you so much. Without Andy, none of this happens, by the way, everyone. Andy does all the tech. He supports me. This isn't a one-man band over here. Trust me, I need a lot of help. He's there supporting us, helping us, getting people into the room. David's coming with the beautiful teachings, bringing his joy. And all of you just being there, beautiful witnesses and bringing up what's on your heart. Wow, so what a collaboration. You know, we're all in this together. And we're all walking each other home, and that's what it's all about. So yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, many blessings to you all. As always, let's expect miracles, and I look forward to another session next week. Bye for now.